Yankees fans, gather around because today's update is packed with moves, surprises, and one of those storylines that can flip the entire direction of the franchise. The front office has been active, and while some decisions parecen pequeños a primera vista, they reveal a much bigger strategy unfolding in the Bronx. And nothing illustrates that better than the latest addition to the infield mix, a name that might not have been on anyone's radar a few weeks ago, but suddenly becomes part of the conversation as the Yankees try to tighten up every inch of their depth chart. I'm talking about the new minor league deal for infielder Jonathan Ornelas, a move that has sparked plenty of debate because it feels like the type of gamble designed for a roster still searching for stability in key spots. When you look at Ornelas, the first thing that pops out isn't his bat. It's the glove, the versatility, the way he handles himself in the field, and the confidence he brings despite not having the flashiest offensive resume. His agreement includes a non-roster invitation to spring training, which means he will have a real shot to make noise right away, instead of being locked into a depth-only role. And the opt-out clause in the middle of the season, should the Yankees not place him on the 40-man roster, tells you exactly how he views himself. He's not here just to fill innings in the minors. He's coming in believing that his defensive consistency can earn him a place in a major league clubhouse. His path last season wasn't easy. Splitting time between the Rangers and Braves organizations, he spent most of the year at the AAA level, where the bat simply didn't take off. His batting average sat under the 200 mark, and the slugging percentage also hovered low, which only reinforced the idea that his game is built around defense first. His opportunities in the major leagues didn't paint a drastically different picture at the plate, but even with limited results offensively, teams continue to value his instincts on the infield dirt. A player with thousands of innings at shortstop, experience at second base, third base, and even time in the outfield becomes intriguing for a franchise that is dealing with uncertainty and injuries in that exact area. The Yankees know that Anthony Volpe is still working back from shoulder surgery and is expected to open the season on the injured list. Jose Caballero is projected to carry the load at shortstop for now, but the team cannot rely on one option while waiting for full health. Depth becomes critical, and that is where Ornelas fits the picture. The backup group behind Caballero includes Braden Shoemake, Jorbit Vivas, and Oswaldo Cabrera, and while each brings something to the table, only Shoemake is a natural shortstop. His AAA numbers show potential, but not dominance, and the Yankees clearly feel the need to build broader insurance behind the position. In that sense, Ornelas becomes a low-risk add who could surprise people if he sharpens the bat enough to make himself a true option coming out of spring training. For him, the situation is ideal. A team with question marks in the infield, a spring invitation that opens a real path, and a coaching staff that values players who can move around the diamond without missing a beat. Even if his hitting numbers don't instantly jump, the organization may find situations where his glove could save a game, bridge a gap, or provide breathing room on days when regulars need rest. Moves like this don't always generate buzz immediately, but they often become the backbone of a successful roster if the player clicks at the right time. And that's the opportunity Ornelas now has, a chance to redefine his career on one of baseball's biggest stages. But that wasn't the only headline shaking up the Yankees landscape, because the rumor mill exploded with a massive prediction involving one of the league's brightest stars. Imagine the idea of a proven powerhouse shortstop walking in the Bronx, someone who can reshape the lineup instantly and erase one of last season's biggest weaknesses. Yes, the talk around Corey Seager has been heating up, and even though this is still classified as a prediction rather than an official trade report, the logic behind it has lit up conversations everywhere. The starting point of all this noise is the Texas Rangers' desire to reshape their payroll heading into the upcoming season. They are reportedly looking to trim significant salary and build a younger roster, which has created waves around the league. Non-tender candidates have been discussed, but moving a contract as large as Seager's will be the fastest way for the Rangers to clear a massive portion of their financial load. He is owed close to $180 million across the next 6 seasons, a number that will influence Texas's entire future roster structure. Considering the size of that contract, the Yankees immediately appear as one of the few teams capable of absorbing it, especially when the pressure on the organization is higher than ever. After falling short in the divisional round last year, the Yankees know they must address the shortstop position. The production from that spot last season was among the weakest in all of Major League Baseball, both offensively and defensively. Anthony Volpe's struggles, combined with limited alternatives, left the team searching for consistency every single week. Insert Corey Seager into that void, and suddenly the picture changes dramatically. His batting average, on-base skills, and power numbers remain elite even when he plays through injuries. Pairing him with Aaron Judge in the lineup gives the Yankees the type of 1-2 punch that instantly elevates the offense. And to add fuel to the speculation, Seager reportedly has a limited no-trade list that does not include the Yankees, which keeps this prediction firmly alive. Of course, acquiring him would require the Yankees to part ways with significant pitching prospects or even a major league roster piece. But the logic behind the move is clear. When a team sees a window to win, it sometimes must push its chips forward, and Seager has the resume and the impact to change the direction of a season overnight. And right when Yankees fans were still debating the possibility of a blockbuster shortstop arriving in the Bronx, another twist hit the storyline and changed the entire landscape of the outfield picture. What happened with Trent Grisham sent shockwaves through the fan base because nobody expected the qualifying offer to be accepted. Yet here we are, with one more major contract locked in next season and a ripple effect that spreads across every decision the front office has to make from now until opening day. Grisham returning for another year means the Yankees must rethink almost everything about how they shape their outfield, how they allocate their payroll, and how they handle the young prospects who are knocking on the door. This is not a minor adjustment. This is the kind of move that forces a full reshuffle of priorities. Grisham had one of the most surprising offensive seasons of his career last year. A batting average in the mid-200s, more than 30 home runs, and close to 90 runs batted, and gave him the type of breakout year fans had been waiting to see. But at the same time, his once elite defensive reputation took a major hit. The metrics were rough, with defensive runs saved taking a significant dip into negative territory and his range not looking nearly as sharp as previous seasons. This leaves the Yankees with two versions of Grisham to consider. Was he the power threat who changed games with big swings, or was he the outfielder whose defensive numbers suddenly collapsed? That uncertainty makes his return feel like both a blessing and a long-term challenge. The Yankees already had Aaron Judge firmly set in right field, and with Grisham now slotted into center field, that leaves only one starting outfield job available. But the roster has 4 players competing for what essentially becomes 2 spots when you factor in bench construction. That creates a traffic jam, and at the worst possible moment, because the team has been actively linked to some of the biggest names on the free agent market. Cody Bellinger, one of the most versatile outfielders available, had been viewed as a perfect complement for Aaron Judge. He can hit from the left side, bring solid power, run the bases well, and play all 3 outfield positions. His defensive value alone makes him appealing, especially after watching Grisham's numbers plummet. But adding him now would require an enormous financial commitment that becomes harder to justify with Grisham's qualifying offer sitting above $20 million for the season. The other star being mentioned is Kyle Tucker, arguably the crown jewel of this free agent class. He brings a complete package, from power to speed to a sweet left-handed swing that fits Yankee Stadium almost too perfectly. Even in a season that did not reach his usual level of dominance, his overall value remained impressive and well above average. He is the kind of player who can change the identity of a lineup overnight. But his price tag is projected to climb past $300 million, and that pushes the Yankees into difficult territory. With so many needs still unresolved in the rotation and bullpen, can they afford to make that type of commitment while also carrying Grisham's salary and preparing for potential future extensions? And then there is the internal battle forming, one that could define the next decade of Yankees baseball. Jackson Dominguez has long been considered one of the franchise's brightest young stars, a switch hitter with all the raw tools you dream about. But he still struggles from the right side of the plate, and his development would benefit far more from everyday at-bats than sporadic appearances off the bench. If Grisham stays in center and the team signs another outfielder, Dominguez could suddenly find himself squeezed out of the picture entirely, at least temporarily. Not because of lack of talent, but because the roster becomes too crowded. Then there's Spencer Jones, the towering outfield prospect whose power potential has drawn comparisons that make fans dream big. He showcased massive power in the minors last season, climbing through Double-A and Triple-A with numbers that demand attention. But the strikeout rate remains a legitimate concern, sitting well above 30%, and Major League pitching will expose any deficiencies in timing or swing decisions. Like Dominguez, Jones needs playing time to grow. If the Yankees commit to a veteran outfield signing, while Grisham remains locked in a center, it becomes nearly impossible to find consistent innings for both young players. All of this puts Brian Cashman in an incredibly delicate position. He has to build an outfield that can compete now while also protecting the team's future. He has to decide whether Grisham's breakout year at the plate was something he can repeat or if the defensive decline is a warning sign. He has to weigh whether signing a star outfielder is worth pushing one or both of his prize prospects further down the depth chart. And on top of that, the team still needs pitching help. The rotation lacks depth, and the bullpen has lost reliable pieces that must be replaced quickly if the Yankees expect to match up with the powerhouses of the American League. The Grisham situation also affects how the Yankees approach the trade market. His contract is not immovable, but becomes trickier now with the qualifying offer accepted. If the Yankees decide that Grisham is not part of their long-term plan, they could technically trade him to clear space. But moving a player coming off a season with inconsistent defense is never straightforward. Other teams will want the Yankees to cover part of the salary or accept a lighter return. Cashman will have to examine every angle because each choice he makes impacts multiple positions and multiple players at once. And this is where the complexity of the offseason grows. It's not just about chasing stars or filling holes. It's about predicting who will develop, who will regress, and who will thrive in the pressure of New York. One wrong step can ripple across the entire season. One bold move could transform the lineup into a powerhouse. And one overlooked detail could come back to haunt the team when games matter most. For the Yankees, every decision from this point forward must be precise, balanced, and bold enough to push them back into championship contention. The Yankees front office must act decisively in an offseason where every major team in the league is looking for outfielders, pitching upgrades, and roster-saving contracts. They know that fans are demanding bold moves. They know they cannot afford another middling year. And they know every choice they make now shapes the direction of the next several seasons. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. Whispers around the league grew louder last night as word spread that Corbin Burnes may be packing his bags and heading straight from the desert to the bright lights of New York. According to people close to the situation, the right-hander has been spotted in conversations that suggest far more than a casual visit, fueling speculation that the Yankees are preparing to unveil one of the offseason's boldest moves yet. No official statements have emerged, but insiders insist the chatter is too consistent to ignore. Burnes, known for his blistering cutter and icy on-mound composure, has long been viewed as the type of arm capable of changing the entire mood of a clubhouse. The idea of him stepping onto the mound in pinstripes has already sent fans into a frenzy, with many imagining how his presence could stabilize a rotation that has been searching for a defining figure. Some around the league say the Yankees have been unusually active behind closed doors, suggesting that something significant is brewing. In the desert, reactions have been mixed. Those familiar with Burnes describe a player who has enjoyed the quieter environment but may be ready for a new chapter, one that offers both pressure and prestige in equal measure. Rumor has it that the Yankees front office has been working aggressively, not only to secure Burnes, but to make him feel like the centerpiece of a new competitive push. Nothing has been confirmed, and some voices warn that this could be little more than smoke designed to unsettle rivals. Still, the buzz feels different this time, as if the pieces are aligning more neatly than usual. Observers note that Burnes has remained silent, neither denying nor dismissing the speculation, which only adds fuel to the fire. If the murmurs prove true, the arrival of Burnes could signal the beginning of a major shift in the Bronx, the type of move that marks the start of an ambitious era. For now, though, fans and analysts remain glued to every hint and every whisper, waiting to see whether the rumor will turn into a move that shakes the baseball world. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.